And welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language, Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at the top stories for the night.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
President Museveni has advised Turkish investors to tap into fruit processing. MPs task Security Minister to assure Ugandans about their safety. While animals to be vaccinated against COVID-19 as WEC commemorates Zakayo, the legendary chimp. And in sports, Uganda to host 6 under-20 Women's CAF Nations Cup at Njeru.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Hello, once again, let's dig into it. President Yoweri Museveni has urged a Turkish investment delegation to tap into Uganda's vibrant fruit processing sector and promote agro-production in the country. Now, the president was today meeting a Turkish delegation of investors that was led by the Turkish ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Fikret Karim Alp at State House Entebbe. The delegation gave him an update of roads construction projects that they were working on in Uganda. Uganda and Turkey have a strong commitment to development cooperation in the sectors of infrastructure, manufacturing, education, tourism and health. According to reports, Turkey's bilateral trade volume with Uganda was $41 million in 2019, and the trade volume with Uganda increased to $63 million in 2020. Turkey's exports were $54 million, while their imports were $9 million in the same year. Now, the Turkish ambassador to Uganda said that bilateral trade between the two countries has greatly improved, adding that the construction sector was the driving force of the Turkish economy. He said that he has brought the top notch in energy and construction. The ambassador said that they employ 4,000 Ugandans in ventures that they are involved in, and expressed interest in the Turkish construction firms being allocated more roads. Now, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has held a high-level meeting with the country's representatives of UNICEF, Dr. Munir Safieldin, and UNFPA's representative Suzanne Mandong, to discuss how to curb the escalating teenage pregnancies in the country. Now, the meeting, hosted by the First Lady at State House Nakasero on Friday, was also attended by Honorable Dr. Chris Bariomonsi, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, State Minister for Sports, Dennis Obua, for Molo Mafasa, the Country Director, SNV, and senior technical officers from the Education and Sports Ministry in the Gender and Labour, as well as Social Development Ministry, led by their representative permanent secretaries, Katie Lamoro and Agri Kibenge. Now, during the meeting, a proposal of a one-year multi-sectoral campaign to be led by the First Lady together with the Vice President and the Prime Minister to mobilize society against the growing evils of teenage pregnancies was presented by UNICEF and UNFPA.
Ministry of Education, as you must know, because we are discussing the well-being of our children. You know, we have had the schools closed now for close to 2 years because of COVID-19. And indeed, that has affected our communities, our families, and the children. And we have had problems that have been brought to the fore by the media to talk about what's been happening, especially to the girls in this period when they are out of school. But I know that both UNICEF and UNFPA are also people who really are involved with the lives of children globally. You have been involved, you care about what we are doing and what you can do with us. And so this meeting really is an opportunity for us to discuss what we can do together, for us to inform you about what we've been doing about it as a Ministry of Education. And because COVID-19 has made it very difficult for us to work.
The issue of teenage pregnancies as a problem, as a new phenomenon, I think is very well known to each of us. And I will not spend too much time talking about the problem, as it is well known to you, and probably some of you would know it much better than me. But we are looking at a situation which has been there for some time, but unfortunately due to COVID, it has escalated and it has reached a very alarming level. It is alarming because teenage pregnancies, they disrupt the childhood of these girls. They disrupt their education and they disrupt their mental and physical well-being. And moreover, in addition to the problem happening to these teenage girls, many of them have become teenage mothers, and they have given delivery to babies. At the moment, unfortunately, we feel we don't know much about the fate of these babies because of the COVID situation and because of our inability, as Your Excellency mentioned, to reach out and see and observe and see for ourselves what is happening.
Meanwhile, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has applauded the Catholic Church for complementing government in provision of education services. This was contained in her speech delivered by her junior minister, Dr. Joyce Muriku, at the 28th graduation ceremony of Nsambia Hospital Training School at a time when the school is marking 100 years of existence.
It is now 100 years since St. Francis Nsambia Hospital Training School was started by Mother Kevin, a Franciscan missionary sister from Waliland, who started an enrolled midwifery school to develop staff that would help her handle the many obstetrical problems that faced mothers and their unborn children. At that time, under the stewardship of the Catholic Church, the school has trained thousands of professionals in the disciplines of nursing, midwifery, and laboratory technicians. This Wednesday, the school passed out a total of 757 graduates. The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, in a speech delivered by her junior Minister of State for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku, thanked the Catholic Church for partnering with the government in training health workers.
I appreciate the effort you made, that you've put in place to control the pandemic spread, both as an individual and as an institution. It is one thing for the government to put in place standard operating procedures for COVID prevention, and it is another thing for schools to abide by these standards.
Mrs. Museveni urged graduates to save lives with honesty and professionalism.
And I now challenge you to go to the next phase, to apply the knowledge and the skills in the world of work, to improve the health status of Ugandans, and to save lives. Ensure that you practice what you have learned with honesty and professionalism.
On her behalf as a medical professional, the State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku, cautioned health workers against facilitating acts of terminating life God has created.
Pregnancy, in the sense that very many people may think the ultimate solution is to do abortion. Many may think the ultimate solution is to provide contraceptive for those young girls. I want to caution you, our dear midwives. You are at that fire. You stand that challenge to remove that unborn child. I want to caution you, do not be that small God to terminate the life that God has given. Be a role model. Hold the profession with integrity.
The principal of St. Francis Hospital Nsambya Training School, Sister Stella Josephine Namatovu, said despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the school registered 98% pass rate to become among the best in the December 2020 and March 2021 examinations.
It was never easy adapting the new norm of masking, social distancing, and being confined at school. I thank the graduates for their cooperation, which made it possible for all of us to reach the end successfully. And at this moment, I wish to report that we achieved a 98% pass rate, and our school was one of the best schools in the recent examinations.
Earlier, the ceremony was blessed with Mass, led by Bishop Anthony Zwa of Kinda-Mityana Diocese and the chairperson of the Uganda Episcopal Conference, Bernard Higa, UBC News.
Now, government has started a mandatory COVID-19 tests at Entebbe International Airport for all incoming passengers, irrespective of where they are coming from. The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, accompanied by the Minister for Tourism, Tom Bitume, says this intervention is to ensure both nationals and tourists in and out of the country are safe. The Minister Baryomonsi, was giving a brief on the weekly cabinet decision at the Uganda Media Center in Kampala.
Government has opened Entebbe International Airport for mandatory testing of COVID-19 for all incoming passengers. It is to ensure safety for Ugandans amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, says incoming passengers will be subjected to a mandatory testing of COVID-19 as soon as they arrive at the airport.
The decision was taken by government that because of the threat of the coronavirus, especially the emergence of new variants, that we shall be testing all incoming passengers into the country, irrespective of where you are coming from.
This time you'll not be whisked away to the lake, is it? Where there are those lake flies. This time there is a VIP tent. A VIP tent. And that tent is for both the tourists and the VIPs.
Baryomonsi calls on travelers to adhere to the site guidelines.
That one, government takes over the testing. Number two, the testing be done from within the airport. Number three, that the cost of a PCR test be reduced to $30 per passenger.
Don't cancel. Don't alter. Don't change your plans to come to Uganda.
He assures travelers of no inconveniences, for all efforts have been put in place with required equipment. In another development, Cabinet approved the signing and ratification of the Uganda Democratic Republic of Congo Intergovernment Agreement for the joint construction of the road infrastructure and the implementation of the Amuru Deed of Settlement for the Amuru Sugar Works project.
This intervention will strengthen the bilateral relations between the two sister countries. Number two, we expect to see an increased volume of trade between Uganda and DRC.
Jane Ramcha, reporting for UBC in Kampala.
Despite terror attack threats currently across the country, the business community downtown Kampala seems to be quite unbothered. Many arcades and shopping malls have shown no interest in heightening the levels of security required at such venues. There are no security check-up points and metal detectors on entry places where hundreds have access. Kampala Capital City Traders Association, however, has called for more sensitization from police and other security agencies.
There was a full exercise of making sure that people are secure by putting metal detectors or bomb detectors on every entrance of where there is a congestion. So why don't the government enforce that? Yes, that is the way to go, because we have to work, we have to move.
I think the response is slow. We are supposed to add more effort and to make sure that our members comply. And then also the police. The police should make sure that we pattern and carry on periodic sensitization and assessment of the implementation of measures.
Nengo ekikulu mu byo tetukiriza muntu atakolyawo kujja kutuula wano. Okujjako yekka akolera wano gwe tumanyi. Naye omuntu ajja obuzina ajja nti oba awumulirako wano tetumukirizaawo.
Nakati omupya kasajja gwe tutamanyi alina bisawo tumuteekako erinnya eriiso George buli omu n'abeera musirikale wa munne. Mpozi n'ekirala tujja kusaba gavumenti twongere ku security obukuumi. Kesi nagwe tweyaliikiriddemu kuba kati ffe nga ffe tetusobola kuva eri kujja kwambalira buli muntu ssebo. Katukebere mu nsawo tetukumanya oviiriddewa.
Now, members of Parliament on the ICT committee visiting internet fiber plants in eastern Uganda emphasized the readiness for government to provide enough funds to the ICT organizations to boost internet digitalization in the country. Let's take a look.
The ICT Parliamentary Committee notes that the funds given to the ICT Ministry are very low to facilitate the assignments of the ministry. Moses Magogo, chairperson, ICT Parliamentary Committee, urged the government of Uganda to provide more support to NITA-U to boost internet penetration in Uganda.
There's only one IT officer for the whole district. Now, how are you going to use ICT when you have one human being running the whole entire district administration?
At the tour, it was reiterated that high taxes imposed on data bundles is challenging internet penetration in Uganda.
We say, yes, we are here in Jinja, but the internet connectivity is so much concentrated on higher offices, government offices, MDAs, and so on and so forth. Yet the purpose of the same should be serving the local people in Namwendwa, in Ujiri, in Kangulumira Bugerere.
However, a lot has to be done so as to improve digitization in Uganda.
We started with developing websites, but we are now developing systems. We have enough capacity here as a nation to develop government systems for government.
Similarly, the committee visited the School of Civil Service College Jinja to further observe the works done by NITA-U in promoting digitization.
Meanwhile, the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has advised people to distance themselves from the begging mentality and mindset and resort to hard work if they are to successfully alleviate poverty from their lineages. Maiga said this while launching a new type of coffee seedling, as well as handing over houses to low-income earners built by the Buganda Kingdom and partners.
Buganda Kingdom, together with its partners, Habitat for Humanity Uganda, have handed over houses to needy families. While at the launch of these houses, Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, said for every person to be successful in life, one needs to have a comfortable shelter.
I was almost overcome by emotion when the old lady was telling us her experience, the change that has taken place in her life because of a relatively simple gesture.
Some of the beneficiaries were so thankful to Buganda Kingdom for giving them a helping hand. The director, Habitat for Humanity Uganda, pledges to continue working with Buganda to transform people's lives.
Decent Living Campaign is a public-private partnership and collaboration initiative aimed at fostering the mission of ensuring that everyone in the Kingdom of Buganda has a decent place to live.
After Katikiro Maiga visited Mawokota County headquarters and launched new type of coffee seedlings. Katikiro Maiga says for over 4 years since he started a Mwanyiterimba campaign, over 10 million coffee seedlings have been distributed and results are seen.
Production in the Kingdom of Buganda has gone up by 30%. And I think that directly contributes to the standards of living of the ordinary people, because people grow coffee, earn some money, they can take care of their children, they can take care of their health situations.
Hilary Chiaga, the area member of parliament, who spoke on behalf of others, assured the Katikiro that no one will intimidate them from defending the Mailoland tenure system. Story compiled by Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
Now, the Public Accountants Board has released the October 2021 diet examination results, indicating a far better performance than those done before the COVID-19 era. The President, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, CPA, Constantino Tieno Mayende, released the exams at ICA PAU offices in Kampala.
I hereby declare the October 2021 diet of the Certified Public Accountants examination.
The COVID-19 induced lockdown has had a negative impact on candidates sitting public accountants examinations, with close to 400 who had registered to sit the PAEB 2021 opting out. Public Accountants Examination Board also held 2 examination dates instead of 4 scheduled for 2021 due to COVID-19. However, the good news is that the few that managed to write the examinations performed better with an average 60% pass rate.
I declare the October 2021 date of the Certified Tax Advisors examinations results released.
This was disclosed during the release of the October 2021 examinations diet in Kampala by the President of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Constantine Otieno Mayende.
We would sit in June, that didn't happen. We thought we would move it to August, that didn't happen because we were still in that lockdown dynamics. We thought we would do it in September, it didn't happen, but finally, in October, we managed to get permission to have these exams done.
The Chairman, Public Accountants Examination Board, CPA, Godfrey Byamugisha, disclosed that candidates could not be suitably prepared as before due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We were fortunate and able to conduct the March 2021 examinations diet. Unfortunately, we could not conduct the June 2021 examinations diet due to the resurgence of COVID-19 pandemic.
The Chief Executive Officer, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Derek Nkajja, appealed to all organizations across the country to employ accountants with a CPA qualification for better results and avoidance of any legal irregularities.
So we believe that that front is set. Students should not be duped by the theory that ICPA will do a road show on how the new syllabus looks. No. As an accountant, you are trained to discover.
The examination attracted 5,151 candidates at centers located in Mbarara, Nkozi, Kampala, Arua, Fort Portal, Mbale and Gulu. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda is legally empowered to certify all persons practicing accountancy in Uganda.
And also the chairmanship
Now, Mulago Cancer Institute has received a water purifying system from Water Equip Uganda Limited for patients to access safe water and avoid waterborne diseases. Executive Director, Mulago Cancer Institute, Dr. Jackson Oriem, says the water purifier will relieve the patient's population from buying purified water.
Cancer Institute Mulago has been equipped with an ultraviolet water purification system that deactivates all bacteria and virus in water. The water system was received by the Executive Director, Mulago Cancer Institute, Dr. Jackson Oriem, saying the system is bound to reduce on infections among patients.
Most of our patients do buy drinking water, I can assure you. The fact that it is here, that means they're saving a lot. They are not only saving on money, but also saving on potential cost if they got what we call hospital-acquired infection. That is an infection that you get when you're in the hospital. And water is possibly a potential source of that.
Adrina Tumanya, a sales manager, Water Equip Uganda Limited, is optimistic that the ultraviolet water system will reduce on carbon dioxide emissions. There is still a challenge of water storage in homes, hence the need of an ultraviolet water purification system.
The benefit is huge. First of all, this is Cancer Institute. This is where you have really vulnerable people. They are unwell, taking strong medicine, and so availability of safe water is key, I think. But one other benefit is really that keeps them hydrated. And we are just complementing the already quality health care that Cancer Institute is giving to all the patients here. So we feel that this was a gap that needed to be filled.
Council Fred Muema, a member of Counterfeit Network Africa, says there is need for mass awakening since Uganda is still grappling with challenges of water. Muema asked Water Equip Uganda Limited to take an active role in fighting counterfeits because Uganda is flooded by cheap quality products.
The country has become a dumping ground for a lot of fake products. We are here at the Cancer Institute, and you know cancer is a deadly disease. But we have fake cancer drugs in this very place. People try to come to this place faking as doctors. Some have been arrested, and they try to claim that they can offer medication and so on. You can imagine, it is so bad. Every sector, not just the water, the drugs, the food that is being eaten. Even when you came here, we have a lot of fakes in the automobile industry, the tires.
Ultraviolet water purification system is arguably the most efficient method of deactivating all bacteria and virus, with ultraviolet rays penetrating harmful pathogens, destroying illness. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
With that, we'll take a quick break. When we return, more details. This is News Tonight.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN Mobile Money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Welcome to the home of our stars. Come on in. We have our movies, gossip, reality, conflict, tulinane comedy. Basirebo baffe bonna live right here, because no matter where you go, this is the home of our stars.
This year, as Power Magic Mix 3, we are delighted to invite you to see, experience and celebrate with us. Power Magic, the home of our stars. Multi-Choice Uganda is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Transact using Airtel Money. Use Airtel Money to send money, buy airtime for self, do mobile banking, make merchant payments and international money transfers with a minimum of 1,000 shillings and get 5 minutes free Airtel to Airtel calls valid for 24 hours. 3 minutes offer is for any of these fast 5 transactions within the same calendar month. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Ngawe nagambye kuleta muntandi kwa kano ketwolekedde kabongo. Erudanga bagamba. Kano ketwolekedde kasufu nnyo kamala. Njagala olabe. Ngawe nagambye tewema maaza tula kalira maaso ku lutimbe. Wa.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN mobile money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Parents and guardians, this month of October, take all your children aged 15 years and below to the nearest health facility or outreach post for integrated child health days to receive a wide range of free services. The services will include immunization to protect them against killer yet vaccine-preventable diseases like measles, rubella, polio, diphtheria, whooping cough, pneumonia, meningitis, diarrhea, tetanus, hepatitis B, tuberculosis, and cancer of the cervix. Your child will also receive vitamin A and deworming tablets. Girls aged 10 years old and those who missed their second HPV vaccine dose will receive HPV vaccine to protect them against cancer of the cervix. Girls and women aged 15 to 49 years will also be immunized against tetanus and diphtheria. Due to polio outbreak in the region, every child under 5 years should be fully immunized as per the routine immunization schedule. Vaccines used for immunization are safe, effective and free and have been approved by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization. Remember to follow all the COVID-19 prevention measures, including wearing a mask when in public, hand washing with water and soap, and keeping a distance of at least 2 meters from another person. Integrated Child Health Days, a healthy child, a happy family. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization, Earth, and partners.
Pay bills using Airtel Money. Make any bill payment within a month with a minimum of 5,000 Uganda shillings and get 10 minutes free Airtel to Airtel calls valid for 24 hours. Dial *185*4# or use the My Airtel app to pay for water, buy yaka, pay TV, and so much more. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Civil society organizations want the National Health Insurance Bill passed into law since it is being looked at as the only health financing strategy that will improve access to healthcare. This was stressed during the 3rd National Health Financing Conference in Kampala.
Uganda's health system is guided by the National Health Policy Framework that outlines how citizens receive healthcare services. And for long, the civil society in Uganda has been demanding for better financing of the health sector to enable the population to access healthcare services whenever needed. Research shows that an average Ugandan spends 41% of the household income on healthcare. During the 3rd National Health Financing Conference organized by Center for Health Human Rights and Development, SEHAD and partners, the National Health Insurance Scheme took center stage.
The person at the community who has nothing completely, who cultivates, who rears his animals, and he wants to save from his from his earnings to do other business. Is the one now spending on healthy activities. So we want to save that one because there are many. If you look at the social sector and the community sector, the informal sector and the formal sector has a few members who are well off, but the informal sector has many who are badly off. And because of spending on health programs, they are again becoming bankrupt and bankrupt.
To healthcare has actually decreased over the years, and it's about 6.1% of the budget given to healthcare. And in that budget, you'll notice that healthcare has been put as the 5th priority. Yet for you to survive and be prosperous, healthcare must be the first priority for the state and for the individual.
Another key issue in regard to health financing is investment in health research and development.
The latest example is COVID. We are seeing the high-income countries opening up. They were quick to invest in research and development, and they developed vaccines, and they're also trying to develop therapeutics for treating and preventing COVID. And that's how they've been able to open up their countries fully. Whereas a country like Uganda, where we've not had sufficient investment in research and development, we are still struggling with these diseases.
Health financing has key major areas that include health systems investment, health infrastructure, and human resource investment. Adiana Kote, UBC.
The low turn-up of people for vaccination in Central Business Center has been attributed to the misinformation currently flooding social media platforms. Now, this was said by the cold chain officer from the Ministry of Health, Zamkere Kazungu, during a vaccination exercise at City Square, Kampala.
Many people turned up for the COVID-19 vaccination when it kicked off, but according to James Nachiwingi, a lot of sensitization and mobilization is still needed to gear up the process.
The turn-up has reduced because most people are now waiting for second dose. On average, we used to work on 2,000 people when we had just started. Came down to 15,000. Now we are back maybe to 14,000 or something like that.
Also, those who fail to produce certificates for the second job is still a threat.
People go, like some people from Saudi Arabia or those Arab countries come here, they got one job but they don't have documentation. So that's a challenge we face to verify.
On average, at least 2,000 people are vaccinated every day within the Central Business Center. But of late, the numbers have been going down. Shaidat in Nasaku, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Uganda Wildlife Education Conservation Center, WEC, has revealed plans to start vaccination of all animals in their captivity against COVID-19 to reduce the spread of the pandemic in the country. The Executive Director of WEC, Dr. James Musinguzi, said all his staff have been vaccinated and now they are exploring avenues of vaccinating all chimps and other animals using the vaccine called Zotis.
Uganda Wildlife Education Conservation Center, WEC, is to start trials to see how animals will react to the vaccine against COVID-19. The executive director of the center said this during the commemoration of Zakayo Chimp's legacy, which is celebrated every year at WEC Entebbe.
We are trying to get a vaccine called Zotis to be able to vaccinate all our chimpanzees. But of course, we shall have first do some trials in the monkeys that we have to observe how they react. But vaccination for the chimpanzees and other animals here at US is in the pipeline. Like the lions, it's in the pipeline to vaccinate our animals against COVID-19.
While launching Zakayo Commemoration Week, Dr. James Musinguzi revealed that so far Uganda has over 4,000 chimps, whereby WEC has only 21 chimps, 55 in Ngabo Island, and others in different national parks and conservation centers.
At Ngamba, the number has grown. We have had some births there. They are doing very well. We were, of course, disturbed by COVID-19, and the flooding was a big problem because we had to put up a retention wall to make sure the water does not continue into the accommodation units.
Musinguzi said although there are standard operating procedures, they thought it's also important to vaccinate these animals to protect them from tourists. The center has trained experts on the ground to carry out this vaccination process. However, Musinguzi says the whole of this week will be Zakayo Chimp commemoration, where they are to conduct a number of activities, including vaccination of the public against COVID-19 at the center.
So any visitor who comes to visit UWEC on Saturday and Sunday and is interested will be vaccinated against COVID-19. We shall have both Pfizer and AstraZeneca.
They have discovered that some habitats for wild animals have been encroached on, yet wildlife is the main source of tourist attraction in the country. Zakayo Chimp died in April 2018 at the age of 54 as the oldest chimp, leaving 4 wives including Amina and Ruth with only one son.
Police in Molata are still holding one of their own for defiling a 14-year-old girl. It is alleged that on the 24th of October at about 7:30 p.m., marksman Okelo Ochan was nabbed molesting a minor. Community members arrested and presented Ochan to the chairperson LC1, who subsequently handed him over to Molata Central Police.
The murder of a 14-year-old, relatives and Kyoga County Legislator Moses Jr. Okot Bitek stormed the Molatar police station to confirm Maximan Okelo Chan is in police custody. It follows rumors that the OC station, Maximan Okelo Chan, who allegedly defiled a 14-year-old pupil of Kabramaido Primary School, had been released. The DPC, Jacob Chepsikor, allowed their leader access to the cell where the suspect was detained.
My reason of coming here was to confirm whether due process of court would take place.
It's alleged that on the 24th October at about 7:30 p.m. as the minor was returning from the market together with her elder sister, she was stopped by Obura Oscar, who told her Afande Okelo wanted to see her. Obura delivered them on a motorbike to Afande, who after releasing her elder sister began molesting her. When Afande came out to dispose the used CD, he found people waiting and arrested him. A Molatar district speaker, Dennis Patrick Ojok, says Okelo Chan had become a menace in the district.
So I want him, I said, you're a matured person. You should be now exemplary to other people or police officers.
We don't encourage people to behave in that way. So if he did it, it will be sorry for him.
Okelo Chan Marksman has had a series of offenses that he did commit in Molatar for quite some time. Okelo Chan Marksman was one of the accused persons who shot me in 2019. And with us having him prosecuted this time, the institution of the police of Molatar would be cleaned for once and for all.
The suspect was charged with defilement and detained at a Molatar CPS before he was transferred to Liran. Ediolwa for UBC News in a Molatar district.
And the National Agriculture Research Organization has awarded over 100 youth in Western Uganda with certificates and monetary prizes to appreciate them for being exemplary in agriculture. This was at an end of a farming training function at the Narrow offices in Mbarara. The youth have been urged to embrace agriculture as the main source of income.
National Agriculture Research Organization in Mbarara District, in partnership with Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, in partnership with Avis and FAO, pointed out youth champions in districts of Mitoma, Bushenyi, Kagadi, among others, and trained them on issues of agriculture. These have been awarded certificates and monetary prizes. Thank you. Balam Twinamasiko, who has managed to win 11 million for being #1 in making the best agriculture project, says he will teach other youth how to earn a living in agriculture.
Little knowledge we get in school of studying,
we need the hands-on, and the government has done it. Maybe what I think the government should help us and increase on the rate at which it is doing this thing of sensitizing the youth on what they can do.
And after here, we have a project proposal of skilling. So we shall make sure that each and every youth in the village who is not in school or elsewhere involved in a certain project.
Student comes with a theory background without knowing how things are done technically. So us as the lecturer and to the government actually, we need to join hands.
Experts in agriculture have urged these youth to embrace agriculture as the main source of income.
Say that instead of selling your land, buy a motorcycle, go to Kampala in the town to go and do border. If you keep that land, you can use it again and even buy a border and still keep that land. So we are saying let us do agriculture as a business.
I've said treat agriculture as a business like any other business. And the business of business is business.
Different youths who have managed to engage in agriculture say farming would be okay, but it is associated with a lot of challenges.
Maize bran is quite expensive. Every pig at different stages of production is fed different type of food. You cannot get a winner, that one at 3 months, and you feed it on brewery waste. No, that one you have to feed on maize bran. Chidiba chimwe chirimwa milioni 2 echidiba chiri standard hata noshanga yuso lyaho 20 cents zo kulima chidiba.
Amon Kadomeri from AVS has pledged to follow up these youth in their villages and continue training them on how to benefit in this venture.
The best youth agripreneurs and the youth champions come together to network, share experiences and be able to connect so that even after here they can still work together.
And a violent hailstorm has hit Mpungu Sub-County, Kanungu District, sweeping and destroying property worth a fortune, including houses, crops and animals. Although many have been left homeless and stranded, no injuries or deaths have been reported. District leaders appeal to the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness to arrest the desperate situation before it spirals into a serious humanitarian crisis.
In early October, the lightning killed one person, a gentleman in Kanyatoji village, and we buried him. And then on the 24th, again we got the challenge of heavy winds, which destroyed 10 families in the villages of Chogo and Murukore.
Have finished the trees. There's a lot of agricultural cultivation here. Most trees have been cut down. So when the heavy winds come, they hit the area hard. Now we are starting on encouraging people to replant trees. Replant trees so that they don't leave the soils bare. 2, we are asking people who are building houses to put lightning arresters because this area is prone to lightning. Then
in their need of accommodation, some of their roofs have been blown off. Some have lost all their plantations. The tea gardens that have been distracted by hailstorm, people are not plucking tea, and that is part of their livelihoods.
The intervention we are going to have to make able these people who have lost their property, especially the houses, to have where to stay for the meantime.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles. Valid for 3 months. Dial *175 hash and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles. Valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Deposit money onto your Airtel Money account. Reactivate your Airtel Money account with a deposit of a minimum of 1,000 shillings and get 10 minutes free Airtel to Airtel calls valid for 24 hours. Offer is applicable for a one-time transaction. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Now in business, the Uganda Investment Authority has signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding with the American Chamber of Commerce intended to facilitate smooth investment grounds between Uganda and America. While signing the memorandum, the President American Chamber of Commerce, Mike Davis, expressed the need for government of Uganda to ensure favorable policies in terms of taxes, security and transparency towards investors. The function took place at the Uganda Investment Authority offices in Kampala.
Uganda Investment Authority has been at the forefront of fostering, promoting both domestic and foreign investment in line with Uganda's investment plans. This has been through different initiatives, including partnering with foreign investors and supporting local investors. The authority has signed a 5-year term with the American Chamber of Commerce, which is intended to promote American investment in Uganda. The Director General of Uganda Investment Authority, Robert Mukiza, is optimistic that this will help in enhancing job opportunities to Ugandans.
Uganda is ready for business. Uganda is ready for American investment. I look forward to very strong collaboration. As I said, I want to ensure that there is a real KPIs to this. We need to put money to this collaboration. We need to put jobs at the center of this. We need to put compliance also at the center of this. How can you help us, create that enabling business environment for the American investor to come and say yes?
Mukiza adds that through attraction of investors, this will also address the issue of regional industrialization and to promote a wide market for Ugandan producers in America than ever before.
If we are selling Uganda, we don't say we only have a market in Uganda. If you invest in Uganda, you have 6,000 products that you can export to the US. That can be part of our pitch also, because we have quota-free access, tax-free access of 6,000 products and above. So we have a lot of work to do internally to say, let us access these markets. They are there. But we can't just have it and then sit back and say, okay, we are not accessing it.
The President American Chamber of Commerce, Mike Davis, says this agreement is a pathway for Uganda's economic transformation in line with Vision 2040.
What we want also is security, not for only our investments, but for ourselves.
As an example, if we are enabling people to stay in Uganda for a long term, they typically reinvest. If you look at foreign investors who go to America, they invest in business after business after
Mike
business
Davis, however,
after business.
expressed dismay on the unfavorable policies to investors in Uganda, not eliminating the issue of security, which issues Uganda needs to work upon.
What do we want? We like transparency, but we don't necessarily want or need land. We can buy that. What we really want is a fair, competitive environment that makes a fair playing field for everybody. So that we look at it, we can compete against everybody on the same level. Similar structures for all businesses, no corruption, equal tax enforcement.
Nantongo Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
Uganda Fish Processors and Exporters Association has clarified on the ongoing debate of limiting the Nile perch fish species to only the foreign market. The association says it was misquoted on its submission to the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries while contributing to the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill of 2021.
Last week, the public was furious over the alleged proposal by the fish exporters to limit Nile perch to only foreign markets. It is alleged that while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, fish exporters forwarded this proposal based on the widening market of the Nile perch. The Association of Fish Processors and Exporters has clarified on the talk.
Send our sincere apology to all stakeholders and the Ugandan public at large. In respect to the comment made to the media after the UFPIA submission made to the Parliamentary Committee on Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill 2021.
Of saying we apologize. So let's be clear about that. If we apologize, it means we do not want Nile perch to be reserved for the industry only.
In their submission, they want the government to expedite the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill of 2021 to regulate fishing activities on Ugandan waters. The bill is expected to ensure proper handling of fish at landing sites for both local and international markets.
By stopping illegal and unregulated activities characterized by open gutting of fish, which causes losses to the government. This vice has left genuine local traders out of businesses and encouraged unlicensed traders who operate without any documents are not tracing where they sell the fish and the fish mouse.
Fish exporters have expressed fear ahead of stakeholders in the business stemming from the reducing fish species in the Ugandan waters. In this, processors and exporters have commended the work of the UPDF Fish Protection Unit.
We need to cooperate. All stakeholders have to work together, including the UPDF, including the fishers, the suppliers, the common man. We need to understand that the Nile perch has to be protected.
It should be noted that only 30% of the fish caught from the major Ugandan waters is exported, leaving the rest for the local consumption. With the proper regulations on board, the export percentage is expected to increase. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
And now in sports, Uganda will effective this Saturday host the 2021 Council for East and Central Africa Women's Under-20 tournament. The six teams event will be played at the FUFA Technical Center in Njeru and end on 9th November.
Federation of Uganda Football Associations has officially launched the first ever CECAFA Women's Under-20 Championship that it hosts at Njeru starting this weekend.
On behalf of the Federation of Football and on behalf of the FUFA President, I would like to thank everybody here and every Federation President in the region for their tremendous efforts towards the growth and development of women football. As the new executive, hosting CECAFA Under-20 Women Championship 2021 is in line with our 5-year strategic development plan, and in particular, the hat trick, where we are committed to excel in professionalism, take the game to each homestead, and obtain sporting excellence on the international scene.
It's a 6-team championship whose composition has Ethiopia, Burundi, Eritrea, Djibouti, and Tanzania. It will be played on a single round-robin format, with the team on most points declared champions.
And with that, let's take a quick look at the weather update.
Hello there, welcome to today's weather report. I'm Alitubela Juliet from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Today we've had a pickup of isolated thunder showers in different parts of Uganda, but there is a reduction in wet weather activities over the eastern stretch of our country. And from the satellite image taken over Africa, it indicates that the rain belt is really diffuse, and there is a reduction in wet weather activities over eastern region due to a low pressure center over Indian Ocean that has deprived us from moisture. But we still have wet activities in the rest of the country due to the southwesterlies that are coming in, pushing through Congo air mass, leading to the wet activities we are experiencing in some parts of Uganda. For tomorrow morning, we are expecting light rains for most parts of our country, apart from a few areas in central and the northern and the northeastern region of Uganda. And in the afternoon, we expect a pickup of isolated thunder showers in different parts of Uganda, most especially areas near Lake Victoria Basin. The northern, we shall have sunny intervals together with northeastern Uganda. This will lead the maximum temperatures to rise to 30 degrees centigrade for the northeastern and the north. And around Lake Victoria Basin, we are still expecting temperatures to be at 27, ranging up to 29 degrees centigrade. For Kabale Highlands, a maximum of 23 is expected, and for Kasese, we expect a maximum of 29 degrees centigrade. Elsewhere on the globe, we are expecting sunny conditions for Dubai, Cairo, and New York at a maximum of 33 degrees centigrade for Dubai. Hong Kong and London, we shall have sunny intervals and a maximum of 16 degrees centigrade in London. Thank you for keeping us company. Join us tomorrow for another edition of The Report. Have a wonderful night.
And with that, a quick look at the top stories for the night.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
President Museveni has advised Turkish investors to tap into fruit processing. MPs task Security Minister to assure Ugandans about their safety. While animals to be vaccinated against COVID-19 as UWEC commemorates Zakayo, the legendary chimp. In sports, Uganda to host 6 under-20 Women's Sekafa Nations Championship at Injeru.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Well, that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
The 11th Annual Indigenous Food and Seed Fair will take place on Thursday, the 28th of October, 2021 at Silver Springs Hotel, Kampala, under the theme, Building Back Better, Strengthening Community Resilience to COVID-19 through Indigenous Foods and Agro-Biodiversity Management. It will be live on UBC TV from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and streamed live on UBC YouTube channel and Pelham Uganda's social media platforms.
Welcome to the home of our stars. Come on in. We have our movies, gossip, reality, conflict, tulinane comedy. Basirebo baffe bonna live right here. Because no matter where you go, this is the home of our stars.
This year, as Power Magic Mix 3, we are delighted to invite you to see, experience and celebrate with us. Power Magic, the home of our stars. Multi-Choice Uganda is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Grow together with one of Uganda's largest companies. Apply for MTN shares for as low as 100,000 Uganda shillings. And when you apply using MTN Mobile Money, you get 10 free extra shares for every 100 shares you apply for. Dial *165*65# or use the MyMTN app to apply now. The terms and conditions of the offer and other important information are set out in the prospectus. For assistance, visit any MTN service center or Stanbic Bank branch countrywide or a licensed broker.
Racist monuments are being pulled down. Streets are being renamed. Many former colonial nations are facing a moment of reckoning over the actions of their forebears. Today, we look at how colonialism has shaped our past in Africa, how it is impacting our present, and we ask what needs to be done so that the future looks different.
Black people are still trying to fight for their rights and still trying to have a space, not being second-class citizens.
The colonialists, they took everything that could benefit Africans.
We as the African people, we forgot where, I believe we forgot where we came from.
Hello, I'm Christine Munda. Welcome to DW News Africa. The world seems to be taking notice of persisting symbols of racism and the need to confront the legacy of colonialism. In the US and the UK, a number of statues of slave owners and colonialists have been defaced or taken down in recent weeks. In Belgium, local authorities removed the bust of King Leopold II in the city of Ghent. And here in Berlin, preparations are underway to rename an underground train station because the current name is derogatory to black people.
It may be a new conversation around the world, but not in Africa. Think back to South Africa in 2015, when students at the University of Cape Town successfully lobbied for the removal of a monument to Cecil Rhodes, another colonialist. For weeks, crowds of students protested on the campus. Rhodes' statue was, to them, a symbol of institutional racism that they say persisted at the university. And across Africa, people are fighting a similar battle. Our first report takes us to southwest Cameroon, where my colleague Blaise Eyong met one activist who's been working for decades to erase tributes to colonizers.
Andre Blaise Osama has made it his mission to take down street signs bearing names of colonial figures from the past. Today, his target is Charles de Gaulle, the former French president and World War II leader. In Douala, Cameroon's financial hub, many streets are named after colonialists. Osama wants to change that.
When you go to Paris, you don't find a monument to the Germans who occupied it during the war. Some parts of China were controlled by the British, but you won't find a statue of a British person in China. So this should not be the case in Africa. All societies have their heroes, and every nation has its pride.
Osama has been tracking down monuments for the last 5 years. This statue of Philippe Leclerc, a French World War II general, is at the top of his list. Osama has repeatedly toppled and beheaded the general, and the government is tired of putting him back up again. Agents have Osama under surveillance, and a fence has been built around the statue to keep him away.
He's lucky he's protected by this fence. Everything we say is backed by evidence. The historical evidence is clear. Everything that has been written about Leclerc is a way of paying homage to France. But we are not in France.
Osama instead wants to preserve the legacy of Cameroon's own heroes. 2 years ago, he commissioned this statue of renowned footballer Mbappé Lepe. At the moment, there are more statues of French colonial figures in Cameroon than that of local legends.
This cost has come with a heavy price for Osama. Since 2015, he has been to prison every single year for putting down monuments of French colonial figures in Cameroon.
Like most young people in Cameroon, 31-year-old Kamani Stella supports Osama. She visits him whenever he's arrested and held in detention.
Our brothers, sisters, and parents fought for us. We have not recognized their sacrifice. At the same time, we are putting up monuments to colonialists. I don't think that's right.
Osama is hoping his campaign will change people's views of the past by replacing symbols of colonialism, celebrating instead Cameroon's own achievements, and the goal of advancing future prosperity.
For many people, the removal of racist and colonial monuments is an important step to erase painful reminders of the past. But of course, there is much more to do because colonialism continues to impact the lives of people on the continent in the present day and in many different ways. Our reporters in Ghana, South Africa and Kenya took to the streets to ask people how they felt colonialism affected them today.
I grew up in an education system that made me myopic in terms of how I think, you know. Sometimes as a Ghanaian, I don't think I've been that creative or been that solution oriented in finding solutions to certain problems I can solve myself, but because of the way I have been trained.
Colonialism makes Africa in such a big way that it brought division amongst us.